Brexit punishment EU demands power to block UK trade deals in latest a.ttack. In a move that will come as a blow to Theresa May and her team, Brussels looks set to demand a veto over any trade deals the UK wants. Brexit Secretary David Davis has previously warned the EU not to punish England for its decision to leave the bloc as it would only damage their economy. But details of a series of proposals unveiled in a leaked draft document, dated January 15, show the EU still wants control over Britain. In the document, the EU 27 countries say the UK should not be able to enter into any trade deals for nearly 2 years after Brexit unless authorised to do so by the Union. It signals that the EU will toughen its red lines and its list of concessions that the UK must agree to in order for talks to progress, according to The Independent. Britain wants a frictionless free trade deal with the EU that allows goods to flow freely and the UK's huge financial services sector to keep doing business across Europe. The EU insists Britain cannot cherry-pick benefits of EU membership, such as access to its borderless single market, without any of the responsibilities. The UK will formally exit the EU at midnight on March 29, 2019. But is now preparing to negotiate the terms of a 2-year transition period after that date to help limit the disruption Brexit entails for businesses and citizens. Prime Minister Theresa May will start talks on the future trade deals by the end of January and negotiations between Brussels and London will start in March. However, policy experts say the revised text gives the EU's chief Brexit negotiator Michel Barnier a more specific list of requests that will further complicate talks. The document states, the United Kingdom should continue to comply with the Union trade policy. It should also in particular ensure that its customs authorities continue to act in accordance with the mission of EU customs authorities, including by collecting common customs tariff duties and by performing all checks required under Union law at the border vis-à-vis other third countries. During the transition period, the United Kingdom may not become bound by international agreements entered into in its own capacity in the fields of competence of Union law, unless authorised to do so by the Union. Liam Fox, the International Trade Secretary, will be angered by the EU's latest suggestions, as he said he wants to sign a succession of trade deals 1 second after midnight on Brexit Day 2019. He said, "I hear people saying, oh, we won't have any free trade agreements before we leave. Well, believe me, we'll have up to 40 ready for 1 second after midnight in March 2019. The EU's latest stance leaves the UK's hands tied and subject to EU law for up to 2 years after we leave. Mr. Barnier has said that the successful conclusion of Phase 1 of Brexit negotiations last month meant that the risk of a disorderly withdrawal had receded, but added, we must remain ready to deal with all options. He has repeatedly said that he wants the single market to be respected during the Brexit transition period. The document states that the 4 freedoms of the single market are indivisible. He repeated his position that Mrs. May's red lines rule out continued UK membership of the single market and customs union, leaving only the option of a free trade deal of the kind enjoyed by Canada or South Korea. Along with trade, Mr. Barnier appears set to demand more on immigration rights for EU citizens in England, who he wants to enjoy freedom of movement until 2020.